You'll let that sink for just a second, and then just shake and reel. See these minnows running around? Boom. I should have just been throwing this all day. There's another one on the hover rig. All right, so I want to talk about hover strolling. So this technique is everywhere. It's blowing up right now. But there's one misconception about it that you really need to get out of your head. It's not just for LiveScope or forward face sonar. I know every time we see it on TV with the Bassmasters, with MLF, you look online, it's someone fishing like this. Head down, staring at a screen, twiddling a rod. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is far from the only use of a hover rig. So hover strolling, I've used it for probably about the last 4 or 5 months, and it's replaced a SENKO for me almost completely. If I'm in a situation where I feel like I can't get a bite, instead of going to a Ned rig or a SENKO like I used to, straight to the hover rig, and I will catch a fish. It may be a bluegill, but I will catch a fish. And I'm throwing these hover rigs in places that you don't see if you're watching all the mainstream stuff, because they're fishing open water, looking at a screen. I'm throwing this in between trees. I'm throwing this in swamps. I'm throwing this everywhere, and it catches fish no matter where I'm at. Ponds, rivers, lakes, this stuff catches fish. So hover strolling, you need to get you a set. All it is just a jig and a minnow, right? Now, you don't even have to buy these fancy hover strolling jig heads. A lot of those jig heads with like the fish head on there work great. The main thing is you just don't want the weight to be too low on the angle of the hook. All you gotta do is pick up a pack of fish head jigs and some small minnow-like soft plastics. Doesn't have to be anything in particular. Now, I personally like the Flash J's because they are the OGs from Japan, and they've been doing this for a while, and that little bit of flash makes a huge difference if there is shad in the water. I've stood beside people who are fishing in the same spot as me for over an hour, and they caught one fish, and they just watched me hammer fish back to back on them. It is my favorite finesse bait now. I'm throwing this all the time. I don't leave the house without a hover rig. There we go. Another one. Another little one. Another small one. I'll be honest with you, if you don't have the right size lure, you can stand here all day. But this is what it is. Okay. This is actually the big one. This is, I normally throw that. Okay. But you have to literally have an ultra rod or a spinning rod. Let's get a bigger one. This jig head, all you do, slowly reel and just shake it, and it makes it roll side to side, and that foil in there flashes. But feel how light that is. That's 0.9 of a gram. So you're gonna have to either throw that on a spinning rod,
yeah, I gotta fix that,
or you're gonna have to get like an ultralight bait caster.
Yeah, man, I'll think of that. Where you buy these at?
It's all ordered online because it's straight from Japan.
Okay.
Only place locally that you can get it is not local. You got to go to Brooklyn up there by Sam Rayburn. Tackle Addict. Slow retrieve and just shake the tip of the rod. And that's called hover strolling. It'll roll side to side. So I'm just shaking the tip. Yeah. And when that lure gets closer, you'll see it roll side to side.
Oh yeah.
It does this.
It's like a little flash to it.
And fish can't resist it.
You got a good little throw right there too, cause that's about where I've been seeing them fucking good ones hit.
But it's just so simple, just shake and reel, nothing else. But this is a ultralight bait caster. So you can, it's actually built off of a spinning rod blank. I built this one like a year ago. So what do you throw it on? Throw it on light spinning rods. You throw it on a BFS rod. It needs to be a light rod. It needs to have a really light action so you can feel whenever you get that bite. These don't weigh a lot. A lot of times I'm throwing these with a jig head that's only about 2 grams or less. But the main thing you need to do is get you some and get out there, because this is hyped up as a forward-facing sonar bait, a live scope specific bait, but that is far from the truth. You can use this anywhere. This bait excels no matter where you're at. I throw it in muddy water. I throw it in clear water. My buddies have watched me catch fish to the point where the next day they ordered everything you could think of. They ordered the drift fries. They ordered the flash jays. They got the range roller heads. They went and bought the whole shebang because they watched me catch fish. Another one on the hover rig. Alright, I just caught this one. Hover rig. My camera just died. Check that out on the hover rig. Literally, camera just cut off. Second, Danny. You said, catch one of those hover rigs. So, how do you rig them? Very simple. Either you're using the nail weight like the traditional style, or you got the jig head. You just want to match it to your depth. So if you need that bait to sink a little bit more, maybe you go all the way up to an 1/8 ounce jig head. If you're trying to give it more of that, slight hover effect, keep it pretty shallow, you could throw as low as 1/64 of an ounce on some of these 2-inch ones. I like to throw the 1.7 gram jig heads from Range Roller. Those are awesome, the Cultiva Range Rollers. Those are my favorite jig heads. Now again, you don't have to spend the money on these. Just go get some fish head jig heads. The main thing is that head needs to be in front of the hook. So next time you go out and you're having a tough time, instead of throwing on the SENKO, try a hover strolling. Try a hover rig and see if you catch fish. Just hit the water. This is not a bad fish. You got me hung up on something? It does. Alright, we're out. Oh, there we go. Yes, sweet. Sweet. Yeah, that's a schoolie. They were schooling. That was a little better. That one's a little better. Back to back. Oh, look at all them shad that came up with it. I hooked something. Look at all them shad. Got him. Got him. Got him. Got him. Oh, I'm gonna get the net. I'm gonna need the net. Got him. Check that out on the hover rig. We weren't strolling it. We were just hovering it. Check this out, right off the side of the road on my BFS setup. So We got the hover stroll flash J right in the mouth. Check that out. So there's just tons of shad. You saw them shad come up. Somehow that flash J was still able to trick them into eating.